Hey, this is Dr. Darwin, the new dentist coach, with another episode of Ask Dr. Darwin, where you ask questions about getting into dental school, about getting into residency and life after residency, even coming into the new United States to become a licensed dentist here, but also about opening up your practice, maybe your first practice. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, how to hire staff, and how to conduct interviews. Today, we're going to be joined with one of our former residents, Dr. Franklin Aguebor, who just opened up his new office for himself. So you guys are going to be learning a little bit about his experience, why he thinks his residency prepared him for private practice, and share with you a little bit and learn a little bit about what it takes to open up a practice, not just any practice, but a practice in New York City, and one of the challenges that he's having with opening up that practice. So Dr. Aguebor, thank you for joining me. What's up?
Pleasure. It's a pleasure. Everything's good. Just busy on a regular basis.
I bet you are, man. I'm going to have you turn your volume up a little bit so everybody can hear you a little bit better too. So what's that?
Is this better?
Yeah, that sounds good, man. That sounds good. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself. We went to dental school, residency training, and what you're doing now.
Okay. Dr. Franklin Aguebor. I went to school in the South, in Georgia, actually. So Medical College of Georgia was what it was formerly known as. Augusta University, Dental College of Georgia is what we graduated as. And as soon as I got done, I decided to take my talents to the Big Apple to do residency at Bronx Lebanon Hospital Center. Met great people, great mentors, and everything there. And I loved it. So I got attached to New York City, and I decided to stay. So then I opened a dental practice here at Smile Design Dental Studio, as you can see behind me.
That sounds great, man. Congratulations. How long you been open now?
Thank you. I've been open for about 3 weeks.
3 weeks. That's a heck of a way to start the new year.
Exactly. I'm blessed, I'll say the least, you know?
Yeah, man. Oh, that's great. So tell us a little bit about, first of all, why you chose to do a residency and how you think that was important, or how that actually helped you to where you are now.
Well, first and foremost, I would say it would behoove anybody to do a residency after school. So essentially, when you get done with dental school, I mean, yes, you have the skills and the discipline, et cetera, but granted, a residency just enhances those skills, and it enhances the skills that you actually run away from. So, I mean, I ran away from, like, say, like endo and, dentures that took forever and things of that nature. But, like, you hone in on those that you ran away from. I'm so much better at that. I do endos, like, fast, and, like, I mean, dentures don't take the whole year. As in dental school, you learn that as well. So yeah, residency benefits you just because you learn, and you have people there to teach you, people that you can reach out to. Because when you get into the real world, it's a whole different atmosphere. You can't really ask anybody because you're dealing with real money of real clinicians, somebody's actual practice. So you can't essentially make mistakes. Like somebody coming into my practice and making mistakes that would affect me altogether, and my clientele and things of that nature.
Right. So you hit on something key about doing a residency and why it's important as it relates to transitioning into private practice, because not everybody's going to immediately open an office. I mean, it took you, you've been out 2 years from your residency now?
About a year and a half. Yeah.
Year and a half. So not everybody's going to follow the same path that you've done. It may take them 5 years. And during that period of time, most people are going to be working for, like you said, other offices. And those other offices want to make sure that you've got the skill set, you've got the confidence, you've got the know-how to do certain procedures, not only to do them competently, but also in an expeditious manner.
Exactly. You hit on it right on the head. They want you to, provide quality work, but they want you to also, have good speed. So residency helps you in regards to your speed as well, because you're doing procedure after procedure, and you're learning in an atmosphere where, like you're getting coaching as well. So if you need help in regards to how to do things, more efficiently, you can definitely get that.
That's great, man. So tell us a little bit about why you decided to open up a practice now and in New York.
So as soon as I graduated from residency, I had really blessed opportunities to work with in private practice, and also, like work in good atmospheres where I learned different offices, the Medicaid route, as well as private insurances and things of that nature. So I kind of gauged what I liked better, and the service wise, and so I decided to open up in Midtown Manhattan. And I know, but I also love New York. Georgia boy coming from smaller city and everything. Granted, Atlanta is pretty good, but there's nothing that compares to New York. So I made this home, and I love it. There's no regrets. I'm stuck here for a good for a good time now after this practice. So yeah, so
That's
it's just a
great.
matter of it was a matter of ownership of your own. So you work for somebody, work for somebody, work for somebody, and you. But I mean, I'll toot my own horn. I feel like I'm a very hard worker. So if I'm working and producing so well for you, then I can do the same for myself. So it's a matter of just taking that leap of faith and saying, hey, let's go, and no fears, and just take the risk. Why not?
Right. Taking a leap of faith and also kind of understanding what is going to be expected. And like you say, you're right. If you're going to work hard for somebody else, why not work for yourself and make it
Exactly.
even, make the fruits of your labor more beneficial for you and your family. So that was a great move, man. I'm so glad to hear that. And you were a hard worker in residency as well. So I think
Thank
that
you.
transcended into working in private practice, and now it's going to be the same thing that you're going to be doing when you work for yourself. So that's great, man. So
Thank you.
one of the things that you don't get in dental school and don't get in residency is how to open up an office, but more intimately about that office is how do you start to staff your office, right? Because it's just, even though it's you as the owner and as the dentist, but you're also going to be now the HR person,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Where you have to hire and you have to write up reviews for people and see how they're doing, how their progression is coming or how it's not progressing. You have to do your own marketing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because people don't
Yep.
know. I mean, New York's a big city, and even you said you're on 50th?
Yeah. 53rd and second.
So 53rd and 2nd, I can tell you there's probably a whole bunch of dentists in that area. So people don't know where you are, who you are too. So you got to do your own marketing and promotion. And you have to also take time to continue to build your speed and your craft with continuing education for your licensure requirements, but also to expand some of the services that you may want to offer in your office. So there's a lot that goes into it. But one of the key foundations is the staff. And so share with us a little bit one of the questions that you had about your staff and things that you're thinking about and challenges and things that you need help with.
So when I first, I guess before I opened up, I had to have an office manager just to get things running, and it was so tough in regards to that because you want to find somebody that's qualified. Because I mean, us ourselves, graduating dentists, we're not, completely familiar with the insurances and just everything else that happens in the front office. But
Right.
granted, you have to learn that. You have to be the office manager too with your office manager, so you know everything that's going on because what if your office manager is sick or something of that nature? So you have to take that step and say, okay, well, I know what to do. I know how to get in the patient, get the insurance, verify everything, etc. So I was blessed because I ran interviews. I put an ad out on Indeed. My first interview, essentially, I was nervous because I never really interviewed somebody in that atmosphere. Come into my practice and come sit down, let's talk. But as soon as I started asking questions, I got real comfortable. Put my feet up and everything. I got real comfortable, and I was able to really gauge the individual that was in front of me, and that was a good feeling. But in return, though, you really have to listen and engage with this person to see if they're really here for you. You know. So I went through a number of interviews, but my very first interview was the person that I chose in regards to being my office manager. She believed in the process. My office was being renovated from ground up. She walked in, and I did my interview here on purpose because I wanted to get somebody that sees the vision. So she walks in and sees like the ground's not done. There's dirt everywhere. Essentially, like I was like, this is up and coming, but this is a new practice, as you know. So essentially, if you're here for it, you're here for it. But if you're not, I understand. So, and we sat down and talked about it, and she told me, I see the vision, and I like it. And I said, great, let's do it.
That's great, man. So that's key. You found your first key staff member. And some of the tips that you have to keep in mind with that person being your office manager is, you have to find out also what makes them tick, right? It's okay if she can see or he can see the vision, but also how is the vision incorporated into their work ethic, right? So, just one tip maybe over the course of the period of time is continue to find out more about this person. All right. Anyone and everyone can do good on the interview.
Definitely.
Right. But it usually takes, and you'll see over the course of some time, it usually takes a little bit for you to see the real person, who they are, how they handle things, how they work under pressure, and how, what ideas they have that help to increase and expand your business. So keep that in mind as well. Again, you have to make sure that you reward them, right? For some people, it's not just money that they're looking for. Some people want to have titles. Some people want to feel like they belong to the mission or belong to the practice or belong to the organization.
It's funny to say that. Even small things is saying like our practice, like, because you don't want to go in there. My practice, my this, because you're part of one family now, So it's like when we brand Smile Design Dental Studio, and things of that nature, they feel like, yeah, this is all us together,
Yeah, that's true, and that's so key, man. And you'll find you're going to have some people that you hire that are just going to be there momentarily. And there's some people that are going to be there a little bit longer than momentarily. And then there are going to be some people that are going to be there, much longer. But keep in mind that that's okay. That's part of the process, and it's part of our profession. There's a lot of turnover, not only with dentists, but with assistants, with office managers. So one of the things that you have to keep in mind, too, is have that tough skin to know that it's part of the process. And you may have to let some people go and, persevere a little bit longer until you find that next right person, because you don't want to have the wrong person that's not part of the vision, that's there just collecting a paycheck or doing other things that's not in, on policy, or things that are not per the protocols that you set up. And that's another thing that's key. And part of one of the tips I recommend for you when you're developing your staff is you've got to have protocol set up.
Handbook.
Right? The handbook is great, but what happens, and I'll tell you from experience, you can give it to the employees, here's your handbook, read it, write it, sign it, but it means nothing if they don't embody it, right? They got to take it in and embody it, meaning they've got to do the things that are there. So the other part of that is training. Another tip, you constantly have to train these staff. You have to carve out time. In your week, in your month, and throughout the year where you just have training. You and your staff, you have training in areas where you guys need to develop to get better, whether it's treatment planning and how you pass off the patient to your office manager to do the financial plan, how you role play and talk to people, right? Talk to patients. Because lots of times, some of the staff, they don't know, or they know a little bit, but they may not know the best ways or the most effective ways to communicate with patients, right? Because at the end of the day, that's really what we are, man. We are a business of relationships, and our service is just oral health care. Yeah. But primarily, it's number one, it's relationships. So you have to have people like you that are good communicators with your patients, with your clients. And for some people are not, extroverts. They're more, introverts, where they kind of keep to themselves, right? Yeah. So that's another thing that you kind of have to start to learn how you screen for those types of people. some offices, and one of the things I used to do in my office is, we used to have a screening process where we kind of interview assistants and people that are going to be joining the staff, but we screen them in ways that we ask them specific questions and to see how they respond. And then, we send off the examination or the personality. We have it's called a personality profile, just to see who we're dealing with. Because quite honestly, a resume, right? A resume or a piece of paper is not going to really tell you who the person is. It's just going to tell you where they've been and how long they were there. It's not going to tell you more in depth what you need about the person, because you're dealing with the person, not their experience, but you're dealing with the person. So you have to really find out who you have on your team and what makes them tick, and if they're even a fit. And like I said, some people after 90 days or even after, they may have to go. They may have to go. So that's the tough part. That's the tough part starting out, because you have to wear all these hats, man. Again, owner, marketer, HR person, dentist, and so on and so order supply person, financial analyst, accounting person, right? You got to make sure people are not taking your money and diverting it from one account to the other account.
And you're always working. It's Sunday, Doc.
You're always working.
I'm here. I went to church. I'm here. I'm just taking care of paperwork and things of that nature, just to make sure everything's running smooth. Because this is your baby. This is you're investing in this. So you have to make sure everything's running smoothly. Nobody else cares as much as you do. So, and if you don't care, it's gonna go down to the ground.
Right. And you know what? There's some resources out there. The ADA, and I'm not sure if you're a member of the ADA, but this is a great plug for them. They have lots of resources, man, about practice management, but more or less about how to open up an office, things that you want to have lined up. Some of the stuff you probably already have, but some other things you may want to add to your structure and your foundation. They also have some modules and some information about hiring staff and maintaining staff and how to pay them and how they do evaluations, because that's all part of it too. Again, you're going to be an HR person now. You are head of HR.
Definitely.
You're head of HR. This is where the dentistry is easy, man. Dentistry is easy. It's everything else before the dentistry and after the dentistry, right?
That's true.
Before and after. So that's I think that's key, or going to be key, as far as interviewing. And you want people that pay attention. People that pay attention, or that are able to follow direction. You'll be surprised, man, that people cannot follow directions. Simple things. And then you wonder why in the office, why certain things are not going right, or didn't I tell him, or didn't I say this? And before you know it, unfortunately, you have something backed up, or something's not ordered, or the lab case is not there because of some direction that you gave to somebody, and they in right ear and right out the other, or whatever, right? So I will give you one tip. One thing we used to use is when we are having group interviews, we used to interview people for the staff in groups, 3 or 4 or 5, and we would send them an email, tell them where the location is, and we would tell them to bring a pen and paper and any other documents that we needed to process them for the interview. Yeah. And one of the things that we did to check and see if they pay attention and follow instructions is this. First thing we told them is bring a pen and paper. About 50% of the people never brought a pen and a piece of paper. It's in the email. Very basic.
Yeah.
So that's one red flag.
100%. That's simple. That's simple. A simple task.
Simple. Very simple. Second thing was we would give an overview or presentation about the office, some of the most important or chief philosophies of the practice, of the dentist, where the dentist went to, what our hours are, and then we asked them, you had any questions afterwards? And some people had some questions. And then we gave them 4 questions to answer immediately afterwards. We're not talking about 5 or 6 hours later or the next day, immediately afterwards. And again, you'd be surprised how many people could not answer certain questions like, where did Dr. Aguebor go to dental school? Where is he from? What are the office hours? And this is just 15 minutes beforehand, giving them all that information, not paying attention. Those people, you don't want in your office.
True. True. It's a small test for longevity.
Right. So, I mean, those are just 2 basic tips and strategies that I have used that have been successful. And then you might want to get, the person to the next phase, the next stage where they, you do more in depth of the interview day and maybe, do a personality screening to see who you're working with and see if they're going to be more of a clinical assistant or maybe someone that's more geared towards leadership, who can be an office manager, who can be an appointment scheduler or one of the team leaders in your office. And that's where you it's one tool that you can use to kind of help you see what type of team member they're going to be for you. But that means you have to learn it too. That means you have to employ it and maximize it in too. And I've got a couple people that you can talk to that help set up their offices as far as setting up their foundation, as far as their office team and things that are important to do from the onset. Actually, a friend of mine, a colleague of ours, Dr. Evelyn Samuel, who has the Efficiency Institute. If you guys look up right here, here's her email address and her website. You can take a look right here. But she helps new dentists like yourself and new practices that are opening with how to start a dental practice, what things you need to have in, and things, a checklist that'll help you get through this first year, these first 24 months. Yep. So and there was another question that you had about, in addition to staff and interviewing.
So a big thing for me is in regards to marketing. So right now, currently, I still do work a normal job, and I also work my practice. So this is my schedule. So Mondays, 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'm at my practice, and then 1 to 7 I work at another practice. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm at a different practice, and then I utilize those evening hours from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. to maximize New York at my practice, because people come after work and things of that nature. And then Fridays and Saturdays are solely dedicated to just my practice. And you'll be so amazed at how many bookings that you get during, of course, particularly on Saturday. And even as a new practice, it's been good. It's been good. So just slowly marketing like that. Reviews on Google, reviews on HealthGrade, reviews go a very, very long way. And then patient education, I would say, is the ultimate. That's the greatest thing. A patient walks into your office, greet them nicely, of course, have your staff greet them nicely, bring them to the back, take all the x-rays, new patients, and everything. I have a system where, the chair's right here, the monitor's right here, you have the TV here, and then you can drag everything so the patient sees the x-ray. Well, nobody knows, they're patients. They didn't go to dental school. They don't understand the tooth and how that is. So you educate them in regards to it, all the structures and everything, and exactly what they're looking at and what we're looking for, the bone levels, cavities, et cetera, et cetera. And then they're knowledgeable at that point, and they're like, okay, great. All right, so I'm not being surprised. I have an intraoral camera as well, so I can take pictures and show them like, hey, this is what you're looking at. This is the cavity that I see, and I want to show you because I'm an honest practitioner, and they believe it and they understand, and then they go forth from there to make their own decision. So I presented these treatment plans to you. This is what, would benefit you and would help you, and then, they go from there. But word of mouth also helps in regards to that. So if you're a good clinician and you do well, then they'll bring family members or friends and recommend you and write good reviews in regards to what everybody lives on reviews now. Everybody. Yeah, when you want to go out to eat somewhere, you're looking at a review, So all of that works, and it comes around full circle to you. like I said, the best and greatest thing is to be that honest clinician. You never have to look over your shoulder because you're doing good at the end of the day.
Yep. Yep. And I'm going to give you a couple more tips as it relates to marketing and promotion. Right now, you know, everyone that came into your office these last 3 weeks got one of these, man. Right?
Of course.
They're checking their emails. They may even be confirming the appointment with you using this.
Yes.
Right? So you have to use this too. This is where people are at. You got to go where people are. There's over 1.3 billion users, I think, on Instagram. So if you haven't got an Instagram page for the office, you need to get one and let that be part of your story and how you introduce people to your business. Because right now, the biggest problem you got right now is that nobody knows who you are and where you are and what you do.
Why they should come?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody.
Right.
You are what I call obscure, meaning unknown. You've got to get out of obscurity. I call it GOO. GOO. Get out of obscurity. Okay. You've got to be able to do that because that's the livelihood of your business. People knowing who you are. So that's the first thing. And the ways that you do that is through social media. You got Facebook ads, Facebook, people on Facebook. There's a colleague of mine, of ours, classmate, Dr. Nissa Holmes. If you don't know who she is, you need to look her up. She's got a program about targeting to patients using Facebook ads and how you do that. With you being in New York, or whether you're in New York or you on Mars, it'll make a difference. You can target a segment of the population that's in your zip code and send ads to them so that every time that they're on and they fit that profile, they will get your sponsored ads, right? So you have to, and that's an ongoing thing because you're building your practice. You mentioned word of mouth referrals, probably the most effective and most effective production wise, but also the most productive wise, but also patient wise. Also, how you going to really build your office. Why? Because people are more likely to do business with somebody that they know or somebody that they know knows that person than anyone else. So you've got to build a program around those patients, those patient referrals. Well, one of the things we used to have in the office is care to share program where we encourage our clients and our patients, people that we serve, if they had a good experience, not only write a good review, but also who else do you know that received the type of care that you liked? Who else do you know you think will like to receive the same type of care that you like? Who are those people? And you build that relationship with your patients so that you are getting some momentum off of that great experience that they've had or that they continue to have in your office. Because remember, it doesn't stop with that after you finish the whole entire treatment plan and you're done. That relationship doesn't stop there because now you're their dentist for life. So they got to come back for recall. They may have some emergencies. They may even have some new things that they want, whether it's veneers, whitening, or implant, right? So you've even got to continue to build that relationship with the patient for the lifetime. You know, find out when their birthday is. Send them a birthday card every single year. Holidays, send them a holiday card every single holiday, right? Special occasions that are things, events that come up in their life. You need to know what those things are so that you are continue to build that relationship with the patient so that when they get that card in the mail, be like, oh, Dr. Aguebor, how did he remember it's my birthday? And they could be like, girl, or hey man, this is the guy. This is the dentist. This is my dentist. This is the guy. You looking for a dentist? You need to go see him. And that's what you want. Those are those loyal patients and word of mouth referrals that you want. And that's how you expand your business. But it only happens if you build, you've got to actively build that relationship. Follow-up calls. One of the things we used to do in our office, every patient that came into the office, especially those that got anesthesia that day, follow-up calls. The office would call them. More specifically, me. So that means you.
They're hearing from the doctor themselves.
You hear from the doctor. I'm going to tell you how many times I've had patients say, Dr. who? Aguebor? Hey, doc. Hey, Miss Jones, I'm just calling to just to follow up, see how you're doing after your appointment, this afternoon. How's everything? You okay? Oh, yeah. I'm thinking I'm just a little shocked. I've never had my dentist call me after an appointment. Boom, there you go. They're not used to that. They used to go into the physician's office or other doctor's appointment, and they're not following up. So that's something that you can, implement immediately. It doesn't cost you any money. It just costs you a little bit of time. You can have your office manager print you out everybody that you saw that day, and you call them later that night between 8 and 9. And so what? They have your cell number. So what? You want them to have your cell number or a number that's designated to the office. So then things come up, they go to you versus they go to Joe Blow down the street. You want them to come to you. So those follow-up calls, man, are so key. And it's a great practice builder, especially, you don't have to only use it when you're building a practice, but as you're maintaining those relationships with patients, right?
So true.
Those are the three things that I was going to, share with you with regards to promoting and marketing. Facebook, Instagram, using that platform, things that are going on in your office. You may want to come, have somebody come in, a friend of yours, or get a film student at NYU. Maybe you barter free whitening and they come in with their cameras and they do a little office promo. Dr. Thomas down in Marietta, Georgia, just opened up his office, and he's doing the same thing. Had someone do a promo in his office and kind of taking around a tour and everything. And you need to put that on Facebook, Instagram, all of those social media platforms so that people can find out who you are and where you are. And that's a constant basis. That's every day, all day. Every day, almost like a commercial on TV, back in the day, McDonald's used to have commercials on. It seemed like every other commercial was a McDonald's commercial, to the point where, you don't see them as much anymore. Why? Because they built their brand so much that you know it, right? Like Starbucks. I've never seen a Starbucks commercial, but their brand is so strong that you don't need to. Well, that's what you need. Smile Design Dental Studio on 53rd and 2nd in New York. You need to build that brand, but that brand is going to be you. So you got to build your brand. Build your brand and interact and connect with your patients. And that's how you expand, man. That's how you expand. So it sounds like you're doing a lot of the good things already. Last tip I would give you, man, is network.
Yes.
Network with a lot of us that have done this process already.
I actually have on my Fridays I do lunches with doctors around. So I have my office manager actually, look up the doctors, the specialists, anybody around. And I'll go to lunch, I'll go to their office, even buy them lunch if anything, we meet anywhere. And we chat and give them referral cards, and vice versa. So it's just like knowing your area, knowing the specialists around your area, GPs, if and everything, and just knowing, and it just makes sense. That's such effective networking. That's free.
That's right. You got to do that, and you also have to network with other general dentists who can share with you their trials, tribulations, and experiences in your particular zip code. All right, because you've got a unique zip code that has its own sets of obstacles, challenges, but also successes as well. So you want to network with them because they have also already been through this path, and just from them, they will share with you things that they would do differently. And those are the things that you want to know about ASAP. So, gravitate to any and all opportunities to network with people outside of the office across the board. So, well, man, I'm so proud of you. How can people find out more about your office?
Oh, definitely. So here we go. We have a website. We have contact information and everything. Smile Design Dental Studio. Yes, yes, yes. Telephone number 212-223-7946. www.smileddstudio.com. And my email is there to reach me and everything. Telephone number is there. Address is there. So come visit Smile Design Dental Studio. Crafting healthy, beautiful smiles.
There you go, man. There you go, man. So proud of you, brother. So glad to see you join the ranks of Proctor ownership and small business person. And best of luck to you. We're going to track your progress. Anytime you have questions, just shoot me an email. You guys that are listening too, you can shoot me an email right here at newdentistcoach@gmail.com. Newdentistcoach@gmail.com. Follow Dr. Aguebor. Are you on social media as well?
Yes, yes. It's Smile DD Studio on Instagram. Yes.
There you go. Smile DD Studio on Instagram. He's in New York, and great practitioner, great guy. And we wish you continued success, man. Thanks so much for sharing your questions, but also sharing your new success with this new office. You guys that are listening, check out the next video right here, and there's another one right over here as well. Check out these next videos related to this. Take care, Dr. Aguebor. We'll talk to you soon, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.